Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
All right, welcome back, everybody.
Can you hear me, Alice?
I can, yes. So
Great.
maybe a smaller group that has the MimioViews.
Okay.
So we'll see here about 9.
So are you working on admitting them?
Pardon me?
Are you letting them in?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I have to focus on that. All right.
Yeah. All right. And thank you so much for joining the last session, Marcus. That was really helpful.
Oh, no problem.
Okay. Just give everyone a few minutes to get logged in over here. So Marcus, is your Boxlight EOS 1 connected to the view?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that's why we're seeing
webcam around so you can actually
gray.
see my face.
There you are.
And I'm upside down right now, so let me actually do something real quick. Perfect. Is that better?
Much better.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen real quick again.
Right. So just quick introductions as everyone's getting settled. We have Marcus Lott here, who is going to be doing, he's on my left. I don't know where he is for you, but there he is for me. He's going to be conducting the MimioView training. So you have him for about 3 hours today. We're going to be looking at MimioView, Mimio Studio, which you'll see it was referenced in Jeremy's session, and we're going to talk more about it, dive a little deeper into this session. Marcus was one of our digital learning specialists in Atlanta for a couple years and has moved over recently. He just moved to North Carolina, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and has moved over to be an education specialist. So kind of changing gears a little bit, but has deep knowledge of all things Mimio, MimioView, Mimio Studio, the whole suite of product solutions here. So we're really lucky to have him for a couple hours here. Now, just to double check everyone's Zoom configuration, I just want to make sure that you are seeing, I'm seeing Marcus's side profile, which is lovely.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm also seeing that you're connecting to audio under Marcus Lott, so that must be a different audio connection.
So no, I'm actually, that's just so I can make sure that I'm showing what I want to show. So if that's distracting, then I can
not at all.
Other device.
Not at all, not at all, Marcus, you're good. And I'm also seeing his screen share. So I have him up in a separate window where he's sharing his desktop screen. Is everyone seeing all that? Yes? Good, okay. And you can go ahead and pin him if you would like. Yep, pin his side profile and have his screen share up. So any way that you prefer to view this. I'm going to be quiet. I know it's rare for me, but I'm going to try and be quiet. And I'll monitor the chat. So keep your questions coming in the chat. Anything that comes up here in the chat, I will make sure I communicate to Marcus. But other than that, take it away, Marcus, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a great introduction. So I really don't have to go much into about the trainer. Again, thank you for joining us today. Hopefully you get a lot from this session. We actually had a meeting yesterday after the meet and greet that you had. So I really want to give a shout out to those teachers. I'm bad with names. So I know one of the names I remember is, I believe it's Joseph, and it was a couple other teachers. I know Barbara as well was in that meeting to kind of clarify some things for us, because in this virtual setting, it's kind of difficult for us to know what you have and try to figure out what the best solution is. So I'm just going to give you the options that you do have with the MimioView. I'm not saying they are the best options, because through conversation yesterday, y'all have a couple options y'all are pending, but I want to make sure that you understand what you can do with the MimioView in the meantime, if you are going to go another way as well. But so my email address is shown here after this session. If you need further assistance or have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll get back to you. So I just want to just kind of jump into quickly the participants or the session objectives. So just want to make sure you all understand that today we're focusing on MimioView. You're going to understand our participants should be able to understand the hardware components of the MimioView, connect the MimioView, download the Mimio Studio software if you haven't done so already. Investigate how the MimioView can be utilized for synchronous lessons. We're going to utilize and identify the MimioView window commands, and we're going to create asynchronous lessons with the MimioView. I know that just kind of behind the scenes, I was excited. I'm very excited about this training. I guess I was so excited that I was ready at 10 a.m. Eastern this morning instead of 10 a.m. Pacific time. So I guess I was extra excited. With that being said, I thought about that as well as I was preparing for the training with, you guys being more West Coast, and I am a homegrown Southern boy, I guess. So, so my dialect, my dialect may be a little different. So if it's things that you want me to repeat, or if you need me to slow down, because sometimes I tend to talk fast, please feel free to say, hey, can you repeat that? Hey, I don't understand that. Hey, can you slow down? Because I want to make sure you guys leave here today with what you need, okay? And let me see, can I do one thing real quick here on my screen that's gonna help me. Let me expand this. Here we go. There we go, perfect. All right, so I also have some notes in front of me. So because I have so much I want to cover, I may glance down to kind of make sure I'm keeping on course with everything. So the training will begin. We're actually going to start from the grassroots of actually bringing the MimioView out of the actual package or the box. So this is going to be from beginning to your more advanced users. So please don't feel like I'm trying to insult your intelligence if I basically go over something that you may already know. I also want to clarify that, yes, I am deemed the expert on this, but I do learn things during these trainings. I learn from you today as well, okay? Before we get going, just want to kind of look at the setup. So do we have our MimioViews with us in the room currently? Does anyone have the MimioView with them currently? If you do, it's okay if you just raise your hand. I'm actually able to see you right now.
Yes.
I have the MimioView with them currently. Perfect. Okay, I see one hand up, no. Okay, perfect. And if you actually don't have your camera showing, if you will unmute, if you do have it, just let me know if you do have the MimioView with you. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's good. We have some people with the view, so that's great. So we can do some things with that. Also, does everyone have the software downloaded on their desktop? Thumbs up, hand raised.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so we can skip past that. Okay, great. So the software is going to be touched on a lot here. If you notice, inside of Zoom, I am presenting my screen, which is the Mimio Studio Notebook. So with that being said, I will touch on the software. It's very powerful when it comes to using the MimioView, and actually without using the MimioView when you're trying to do your remote and your distance learning teaching. So you're going to see some things that I'm able to do with this software that complement the MimioView. Just want to make that known as well. All right, so let's go ahead and just dive into this. So the first thing that I want to just talk about is the MimioView. Just a couple specs on the MimioView. It plugs into a single USB computer port for both power and data. Autofocus by pushing a single button. We can capture both dimensional objects and flat documents in exceptional detail with ultra high definition. And we can save work by easily annotating images and creating files to use over and over. So just a quick specs. I got these directly from the spec sheet. So out of the box, so once you get your MimioView document camera, what should you have? Out of the box, you're gonna have the actual document displayed here. You're gonna have the document camera. You're also gonna have this USB port cord. And you're also gonna have your your microscope adapter, all right? And there's also a quick guide as well, a quick start guide as well that comes with your MimioView document camera. So one thing I want to highlight here when it comes to the microscope adapter, I really didn't have a good video. I'm at home, so I don't have a microscope. We just kind of want to go over how to utilize this microscope adapter. Again, it comes here. You'll see this is the microscope adapter. This is the area that it plugs into. So this is the area that it plugs into here. Right here are your lights, and also right here is your camera. So the top pieces that you see here and here will basically attach here, and it twists in. And that's when you will put that over. That's when you'll put that over your document camera scope, your microscope lens, and that's when you'll be able to project what the plant cell, whatever you want to do with the microscope adapter, and you're going to be able to display that from your MimioView. So it's a great tool. So I just want to highlight that, especially for those of you who teach science and maybe have to deal with microscopes. So. The next thing is this quick start guide. Again, I just referenced to, and it basically goes through the steps. Again, like I said, I'm starting from out of the box. So it goes from what you receive, downloading the software, which many of you said you already possess, which is great, and how to plug it up, things of that nature. So I'm just gonna go through that very briefly with you. So the Mimio Studio software, which most of you say that you already have. I just want to let you know that this software does update. So there's ways that you can just go to the website and download the new version. Many of you may already have the current version of it, but this will take you directly to the website or you can go directly to the Boxlight website to actually download the software. So I'll just click here to what I have hyperlinked, and this will take you directly to the website. So this is the website. This is where you fill out the information on the right-hand side. Get rid of this. So this is the right-hand side where you fill out the information. And then once you select download now, you'll basically start your download, okay? And if you notice, it may be a district protocol, they may want you to stay on a certain version for so long, things of that nature. So I definitely would talk to the IT, but the software is constantly being updated, so you want to make sure that you have the latest version, all right? And if you don't have, let me see, if you don't have the software, this is where you would go. I got the question is, do you need to do this update? Currently, I would just keep what you have and then talk with your IT coordinator basically to see if it's okay, or if there's a certain protocol that y'all want to go, that y'all utilize when it comes to updating software. But what you have currently, if you just received them, so I'm pretty sure you have one of the latest versions, okay?
Marcus, can you tell them how to check which version they do have?
Yes, I can. To check the version, what you would do is if you go to the Mimio Studio notebook, get out of that. And you go up here to the help, or you go up here where it says help. And then from here, you would go to activate software. And you can see what version you have. Like I see my Mimio Studio is activated, and I see that I'm on 12.3 currently, okay?
So it looks like we're on 12.4.
Okay, so that means you actually have a more up-to-date version than I do currently. So that's good.
Okay, so it says activated, so yeah.
Yes, and it says activated. So that's one thing I want to hit on as well. Good question, Allison, because you want to make sure that it's activated and it's not light. Like Mimio Mobile, that's something we're not talking about today, but this is actually light.
Okay, it has light 3.0, and then it says activated 12.4. So we're good?
You said it has activated, what again?
12.4.
So 12.4 says activated.
Yep.
Okay, well, you should be good to go then. All right, so that's going to give you a little background on where the software is located, how to get to the software if you need it. So basically, the MimioView is a very simple connection. Basically, to get started, it's very simple. You have your USB port cord here that connects to the back of the document camera. And this side, this piece, the USB side also plugs directly into your desktop USB port, okay? Or laptop. One thing that this is actually very important, the MimioView, when it comes to how to launch it. Again, one thing that's highlighted in the specs is that it's only basically one button to launch it, and that's correct. You press the view button, which is located right here, and once you press that button, it automatically loads the software and it launches and the lights come on and it's ready to go. So it's just one simple button you press, and that will launch the software once you have your MimioView connected to your desktop via the USB, okay? Couple things I want to highlight here is that, which is very important. So this is the time that I would definitely dial in if you're not dialed in, because this is very important. So when it comes to the status light, all right? So the status light, when it comes to the status light, if it's off, that means it's not receiving power. The USB cable is not connected, so that means basically you have no power off, that status light is off. If it's solid green, that means that the MimioView is connected, all right? So it is connected if it is it's solid green, okay? So that means if it's solid green, that the the software is, or the MimioView is recognizing the software. So that's one thing I want you to kind of have in your mind. If it's solid green, that means that technically that means that the MimioView is recognizing the software, all right? Because that's important. Flashing green means that the MimioView is connected and receiving power, but the Mimio Studio software is not running, okay? I'm gonna say it again because it's very important. The MimioView, if it's flashing green, that means that the MimioView is not recognizing the software, which can be beneficial, okay? So because what we talk about later is gonna be beneficial. So solid green can be beneficial and flashing green can be beneficial in your situation, all right? So that's what we wanna really hone in on when it comes to your MimioView and whenever you decide to launch the MimioView from the View button, all right? So next we'll move into the MimioView components. Since some of y'all don't have your MimioView with you, I will zoom in here just so you can see it. So when it comes to the MimioView components, yes, you have your adjustable goose neck arm. So that allows you to basically move it, maneuver your MimioView to get the right angles, to get the right lighting, things of that nature. I like that feature of the MimioView. And we already talked about how the head of the actual MimioView is, this is the camera, these are the lights, all right? And this is where the microscope adapter will connect. We already talked about that. We talked about the View button, but now let's look at, okay, instead of the View button, there also are some buttons on the base of the MimioView that are important. So the View button, again, launches the software. This is right here above it. It's the status light. It's either going to be solid green, no light, or flashing green. And to the left, you have an eyeball, which I think of it as more as a focus. I think of it as focus, but the technical term is auto tune. And then in the middle, you have rotate. So if you notice, this is going in a clockwise rotation. So this is basically going to rotate your view, or like say, or your image that you have underneath the view. It's gonna rotate it clockwise, okay? And that can be beneficial if you wanna put your image in sideways, or maybe you're using a textbook, things of that nature. It's gonna be very beneficial, all right? The next button we have here is the freeze button. So this can be beneficial as well. Let's say you want to just put something underneath and kind of take a picture of it, and then actually remove it. It pauses it, it freezes it, it keeps it in place. So that means that once it takes that picture, you can move the image away, okay? So that's very important. The next thing just kind of highlights the back. Highlights the back of the view. And we've already kind of talked about this anyway when it comes to how to connect the USB to the back as well, and your Kingston lock, okay? I don't know if y'all gonna utilize that, so. All right, so now let's kind of jump into something that, that I believe is very important, and we kind of talked about through our conversation yesterday. And after leaving the conversation, it just made me think about my time in the classroom and how resourceful we are as teachers, as in we can't always get what we want. So we have to basically make do with what we have. And so I'm used to doing that as a former middle school teacher. So I'm always trying to find ways to make things work that really they may not have been intended that way, to work that way, but to try to get my bang, the most bang for my buck that I can get, possibly, I guess I would say. And that's a great skill, I believe, to have as a middle school or a school teacher, because funds are not always there to get what you necessarily want, all right? But thinking through that lens, I also have to think of efficiency and things of that nature of, people's individual circumstances and ease, and the end user, and just ease of use. and think, you know what, sometimes it's more of a headache to deal with some of those things. It's trying to make everything work in the lens that you want it to work in. With that being said, and maybe just come to the conclusion that yes, the MimioView document camera is a document camera. Okay, it is a document camera. It was designed to be a document camera and not to be a webcam per se. All right, but so with that, that means there are going to be some limitations. It's not going to be perfect. All right, there are going to be some limitations. So if there's an option that is better, by all means, please use it. Because as a teacher, you want to move as efficiently as possible so that that the students are learning and you feel comfortable. But the MimioView does have some aspects and qualities that can be adapted if you don't have those other resources that you may need. And also, just thinking about it from this perspective, let's say the end all be all is, okay, we're going to do webcams or we're going to do tripods and things of that nature. This may be something that you need to utilize until that order is fulfilled. So I think it has some value in itself from that. So with that being said, there is a way to use the MimioView document camera as a webcam. If you notice, I'm doing it right now. So through the conversation that Joseph, I guess, like I said, that's the name that sticks to me the most, we had yesterday, which, like I said, I want to give him a shout out because he really gave us some great information, some great intel yesterday. And through our conversation, at the time, I hadn't really played around with Zoom just because I'm normally a G Suite person. So I kind of slant that way a little bit, I guess. But so through our conversation, I realized what he wanted to do was he wanted to be able to share his screen and also have the MimioView in the bottom right-hand corner or the top right-hand corner, wherever, so you can actually see the screen, so you can actually see the panel or actually see the presenter without having to share your screen. So if you notice right now, this is my MimioView document camera. All right, so I can move it to, actually, I'm in my dining room, but I'm just moving it around so you can see I can position it to other places around so that I can capture potentially a panel. I haven't tested this with the specs of seeing how great that image is, to be honest with you, but I know that I can at least get that image in from this document camera. Okay, and I'll kind of position this back to where I am now. Okay. And how is the picture quality on your end, Allison, when it comes to the camera that's facing me?
You're a little bit silhouetted, but I think that's because you're backlit from your window.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, but other than that, you're a very clear outline.
Okay. That makes sense. I was thinking maybe I could move. I may move later then, just so you can kind of get a better picture of how that looks. But so from here, I just want to show you how to make this happen. Since I'm in Zoom, trying to share my screen in Zoom, some of the things I can't show you by just screen sharing. So I took some screenshots, and if you can't follow the screenshots, then please reach out to me and I can work with you if you need to make this happen in your classroom. So with that being said, the first thing you want to make sure you do is you want to make sure that you want to check the status of your document camera. So you want to see if is it solid green or is it flashing green? All right, let's see, pop quiz. Who can tell me what solid green means? What does solid green mean? Who can raise their hand and tell me what does solid green mean? Okay, Sophia, you can unmute yourself.
Solid means that it's connected to power and it is working with the device.
Yes, the software. Yes.
Program.
Yes, correct. And who can raise their hand and tell me, or unmute themselves and tell me what does flashing green mean? Not all at once. Thank you. Yes, what does flashing green mean? Yes, sorry, Sophia, yes.
It's connected to power, but it's not connected to the software.
Okay, correct. Correct.
Which is what mine's.
And correct. So in this case, what you want to do is you want to make sure that it is flashing green. You don't want it to recognize the software, okay? To do that, what you can do to do that is, I can show you very quickly, is when you plug it in, if you go and if you're on your Microsoft-based Windows 10 and you go to devices, and you see where it says Bluetooth and other devices. All right, so right here, you'll see it has the MimioView 350U right here. So if I click on this, I can remove this device. So once I remove this device and then unplug it and then replug it back in, it's not gonna automatically recognize the software, okay? So that's gonna give you a flashing green. Again, all you're doing is you're going to your search, you're going to type in devices, and then it's gonna take you to Bluetooth and other devices. You will click on the MimioView, left click there, remove device, unplug it, and then plug it back in, and then it's not gonna recognize it, or it's not gonna recognize the software. So again, that's gonna give you a flashing green. Thumbs up if we understand that so far. Does that, I need to repeat that. Perfect, all right, I see one thumb up. See, I'm gonna stop here. Because I'm a former teacher myself. And I know how we feel as teachers when our students don't respond. So please participate, because I know you encourage your students to participate, all right? I know you may be busy with other things as well, but just think about that. We tell our students all the time, make sure you participate. Are you listening? Are you paying attention? So as teachers, we need to practice those things as well, okay? So again,
I see Sophia's hand up there, Marcus. I don't know if you saw that.
I'm sorry?
I was just, Sophia had her hand up maybe for a question.
Yes.
So your explanation makes total sense. I'm running into issues where I need to be an admin to be able to make any of these changes to my desktop. And I don't know if other people have that issue.
As in, to make what changes? To remove a device?
Yeah, to access anything on the device manager. It said that you had to be signed in as an admin.
So
Joseph's nodding his head yes.
Device, and so is Bluetooth and other devices coming up like this, like you see here?
No, it won't even let me pull that up. I know that I could get to that because I've been able to do that on my own computer before. Okay. But with the school's computer, I'm not able to do that unless I'm an admin, because they have like a special code.
Yes.
So I just wanted to let you know that like other people might not be able to do this right now just because we don't have the admin codes.
Okay, so a workaround to that is, because it happens all the time, another one is you technically, this is kind of the guaranteed way to make it happen, okay? Removing the device. The one that you may have to do a couple of times is just unplug, replug, and unplug and replug. Because then it's going to probably not recognize the software. Another way is, just in case that is difficult or you're not able to do that, if you go to the bottom right, if you see right here, if I go here, it's just a little caret, and you see this is the Mimio Studio software right here, right? If I right click on top of it and go exit, then it's going to shut down the software, and if I unplug and replug, it's not going to recognize the software. All right, so that's another workaround as well. So all you're doing is just trying to make sure it's not recognizing the software. If you want to use the document camera for Zoom purposes when it comes to having that your image displayed. Does that answer your question? Or you?
Yep.
Okay.
Were you guys able to do that, like exit out of Mimio Studio and then unplug, replug, and now you see the flashing light? Was anybody able to do that? The flashing green light? So Mary says, I get a blinking green light when I unplug and replug the camera at its base. Okay.
That's good. You're good. You're good to
All
go.
right. So that's the objective. So you're good.
You're good to go. This is okay. All right. So that once that occurs, the next thing you would do is once you have your flashing green, had to unplug. Okay. Once you get flashing green, all you need to do now is my selection tool. The first thing we would do is once you go to Zoom, you would go to your video, and you would just click on the little caret here, and then from here, what you would do is you would select video settings. All right, so I'll back up. I may have moved too fast. Like I said earlier, I move fast sometimes. Okay, here I'm in Zoom where it says video. You want to click the caret, and then that's going to take you to this window, and you'll see MimioView is showing, right? Or it should show. And then when it shows, you want to go to video settings. Once you click on video settings, this is going to display. All right. So once that shows, you would want to go to video. Well, actually, it's going to already be on video. You're going to see that the camera is the MimioView. The only problem you may have from here now is the camera may not be oriented correctly. So that means you may have to go here and rotate it until you get the correct orientation, okay? So you may have to rotate it a couple of times so it actually shows the image the way it should show. But that's all you have to really do to get it to show as the side menu camera view, okay?
So I wonder if we could, if anyone's set up to test that out and see if it would work.
Can you repeat that, Allison?
Yeah, I'm just reading, I'm reading a comment from Min, who's saying, I had to unplug the USB plug into a different port to make the desktop recognize the MimioView. Is there an advantage to changing the camera to MimioView versus sharing our screen with the MimioView Studio open on our desktop?
Yes.
And yeah, so go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah. For me, to be honest with you, I have no preference either way, to be honest with you. It's really your preference. And I say that because some people want to actually have this here. Like they want to actually have the video on the side, and they want to use that technically as their webcam to display what's going on in the panel and to give those visual cues.
Right. And I think what we were talking about yesterday, and I think Joseph and Abby and Katrina, you made the point about that social emotional connection, having them able to see your face while you're sharing the screen. So having both of those, I guess, is the objective.
And also, I just want to let you know, I'm going to cover the other view as well. I'm going to show you what that looks like as well. So then I guess you can kind of make the decision for yourself. And I'll tell you the pros and cons of that as well.
Okay, so Marcus, Min is saying it is not allowing me to select the MimioView as my camera. It is working correctly because I can use the MimioView as a new window on my screen. So
does she have a solid green or does she have a flashing green?
Min, go ahead and unmute yourself, and there's no point in me mediating.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I have a solid green, and it is working because when I push the button, the Mimio Studio View opens on a different window, and my MimioView is working. But when I try to select on the bottom of my Zoom screen, in the the little caret next to the Zoom and I want to switch to the MimioView as my camera on Zoom, it says failed.
Okay, that's because you have a solid green. You're trying to get it to be flashing green by unplugging it and replugging it again. So you want to unplug it from the USB, and then because if you can't remove it, there's a couple steps. Like if you can't remove it the way because of the admin rights, then you can't unplug it and replug it, and it may not recognize it. So once you have flashing green and it stays flashing green, that means that you're good and it's going to work with Zoom. If it's solid green, that means it's not going to work with Zoom because it's recognizing the software. Do you understand?
Replugged it, it went flashing for a second, and then it went solid and it says failed to start the video camera. Please select another video camera in settings.
Okay, so try this step for me then. So go back to your desktop. Second. So go back to your desktop, or
Yeah.
And at the bottom you have Windows 10. So do you see this little caret right here that I'm pointing to?
Yes. No. Hold on.
And click that, and does it give
Sorry,
you
I
this
just
menu?
set up my dual monitor, so I'm trying to find my mouse.
Okay.
Apparently it's on this screen that doesn't, I'm
can see it.
having trouble locating it because of my dual monitor. What is it that you want me to open?
So basically, I just want you to, if you go to the bottom of the taskbar, you'll see this is a little caret right here that shows that like all the programs that are running.
Yes.
And do you see like the notebook that's there? The purple little notebook that's there?
I know, because of the screen, this display resolution on that one. That's why.
I can see that little book, Marcus.
Okay. So that little book is what you want to right click on. And it should give you a menu. The menu should pop up to where you can exit out of it. So Joseph, what happens when you right click on top of it? Does it give you an option to exit?
Yeah, it does give me an option to exit. Is that what I need to do to get the
Yeah,
green?
so now you select exit.
Okay.
And then you will unplug the MimioView and then plug it back in, and it shouldn't recognize it. Let's have our fingers crossed. It should be flashing green then.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's flashing green.
Let's wait a little second because it initially starts flashing green and then it's turned solid. So let's wait a couple seconds just to make sure it keeps flashing green. It's still flashing?
It's still flashing green, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so once that's flashing green, now if you go to Zoom and if you go through the steps of here, where you go to your actual webcam and then you click the little caret beside that, you'll actually get you'll see the view and you'll see video settings at the bottom.
Full access to the system.
Okay.
OBS.
Okay.
That's the
Do
problem.
you see that?
You think today?
I'll have to think it over.
I think Sophia's got it. She's coming in from a few different
I
angles
just gotta
here.
make those video. I can't make any of those videos until.
Probably if there's another way.
You said Sophia has it?
Yeah, I got it set up on, I have it set up on the MimioView. I went to the settings and I was able to like rotate the camera so that I don't have to bend the camera
Yes.
to make me right side up.
Gotcha. So now you're able to do that from inside of Zoom. Yes. Okay. So sorry, Sophia, but you may be the go-to if others don't understand, or you can reach out to me as well. But I guess that's kind of proof that it does work.
Well, so we have something coming in from Mary. Where's Mary? So Mary, I'm not seeing your video live in our Zoom, but she says she's able to see the live image of my desk that is picked up by my MimioView in my Zoom meeting. I didn't click anything in settings though.
Yeah, you got it.
I got it. I don't know how I did it.
Because if you want them to
Okay.
Yeah. See?
So
can
you
do
so
that.
you're
Yeah, you got it. You're good.
so can
Sorry.
you turn the camera on then?
It's just there. I didn't go to settings and click on anything. I wasn't able to.
Okay.
Sorry, Marcus, our IT guy came in, but I got my
You're just
my
checking.
MimioView working on Zoom now.
We didn't have to.
Okay, so you have so Joseph is number 2. Okay.
So if you want your screens then.
So Joseph, my question
Standing
for you,
on
I
the
see it
ceiling,
upside
though.
down. Did you go rotate it?
I'm trying to.
So to
Now they're gonna
rotate it,
that-
when you go to the
Right.
video settings,
Or you can stand up here.
Oh,
So
okay.
All I did was plug in.
you should be able to rotate it 90 degrees.
See here.
And I can show that slide as well, just to make sure.
I forget how
everybody's-
to. Is that in advance? Oh no, never mind. Sorry, I just saw it. How do I go back? Rotate, rotate. Cool, got it.
There you go. So now you don't have to worry about actually moving the camera, like bending it so it shows. Okay. So since 2 people in the location have it, I'm sorry to put y'all on the spot, but y'all may be the go-tos, but I want to kind of move on from here to the next thing, or just so I can talk about some other things as well that you can do with the MimioView. Is that okay? Okay.
I
Yes,
see
yeah.
some puzzled faces. So I wonder if anybody has specific questions, maybe we
Okay.
can respond or take a few minutes to respond. Feel free to unmute yourselves. You don't,
Yes, please do.
don't have to. There we go. All right, Joe's on the run. He's gonna go room to room and help everyone.
Okay.
All right, so I think we're good to move on. Is everyone okay to move on, or do you want to? Thumbs up if you're good to move on. All right. Okay. Seeing a couple thumbs up. There we go.
Okay. All right. So once you are able to do that, now you can have the view as technically your webcam. Your audio is still going to come from what you have, I think the device that you have on your desk. So the audio is going to really be dependent upon the proximity. So that's something you want to test out as well, just to see what that quality is as well. I don't have one of those, so I couldn't test that out for you. But this is how you can use it with Zoom. Again, making sure that the MimioView is not recognizing the software, okay? All right, so the next thing that I want to talk about is, let's see. So basically, with that, now you're able to put your MimioView towards the panel, and students can see you and hear you talk to them as you are solving your problems or things of that nature. So again, it wasn't intended for that purpose, but it can be utilized for that purpose in this situation, all right? Again, so my next thing was a Zoom test. And I see that Joseph is actually doing that right now. And I know some people have already connected, so we may not have to do that, but let me see if I'm gonna do that right here, all right, so what we'll do is, let me explain this piece to you next. All right, so once you're utilizing this as a webcam, you're utilizing it just like a webcam. Besides, your mic component or your audio is coming from your desk. So with that being said, you utilizing this in the space of synchronous lessons, if you want, I guess you can do this from having students pin you. So if students were to pin you on your screen, then you could use your document camera now to be, hey, I want to actually put something underneath here, okay? So they would just be looking at that video from you if you want to actually put something underneath your document camera for students to see. Like say something that is not going to be digital. So say if I have this book here and I want students to be able to see this book, let me rotate. That would be an issue with rotation. So I would then have to go to my settings and rotate it appropriately. So basically what I would do is, you'll see right now for you, is that upside down, Alex? Just make sure.
It is, yeah.
It is. Okay, so then what I would do is I would go back to my Zoom window. And then
you could just rotate the book, right?
I'm sorry?
You could just rotate the book.
I could, but then I'm looking at it backwards, like.
Right, gotcha.
So if I go to video settings here again, and now I can just rotate this appropriately so that I can, read it as you were seeing it as well. You rotate that some more.
I have a question.
Yes.
So if you are in a Zoom using the Mimio as your web camera, you cannot use the button on the Mimio camera to rotate. You have to only do it through the settings.
Exactly.
Okay.
Perfect. Exactly. And so I guess when it comes to what we go over later, when it comes to making that decision on what's best, that's one thing you got to realize. You're kind of taking the software away from the actual document camera when you do that. But still you have the Mimio Studio software to where, of course, here I can use the software through through sharing my screen as well, okay? So I have that option here. Now, the other thing is with it being the software is, you're not really actively using the software, you will need to, when you make that decision, if I want to move on and kind of go through the display of the properties of the MimioView document camera, what I'm going to have to do is make sure that my laptop is now recognizing the software, okay? So I think now, let's see, Allison, unless you have something you want to add, I think now would be a good time. I know we already put 52 minutes in. Now would be a good time to potentially take about 7-minute break, maybe a 7-minute restroom break. That way I will restart my computer, and then now it will recognize the software, and I can show you the components from when it does recognize the software and what you can do instead of this method with the software being activated and having a solid green status.
Right. I think that's probably a good idea. I am imagining some people are still playing around with getting their video settings on Zoom. So if you want to drop off, I can stay here and help answer questions, or people can take a little quick bathroom break and just come back on the hour. So in about 7 minutes.
Yeah, so 2 o'clock, perfect.
Perfect. All right, thanks, Marcus.
All right.
So I'm still here. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have questions.
Hey, Allison.
Hey.
Can you help me with my dual monitor setup?
Yes. Do you want to share your screen or let me know what's going on?
1 second. Okay, so I got a little present from my husband. and was able to make my box light into a second monitor, right? I enabled the dual monitor setting on the Zoom, on my Zoom profile. And so when it says, when I open up my Zoom meeting, I should be able to have the share screen on one side and the grid view of all the participants on the other. It's not doing that. Is that just because I'm not the one sharing my screen and it was someone else sharing their screen?
Oh, it's because you're not a host. Let me try and make you a co-host, and then you should have sharing settings. See if that makes any difference.
My mouse has been slow. Sorry, you're getting a lot of belly shots right now because I'm
You
like
look so
moving
beautiful.
around trying to,
Oh my gosh.
you know, get stuff working. Okay, so I do have share settings now, and when I was reading the directions, you know, on zoom.com about dual monitors, it just said once you log on, it'll automatically do it.
Right.
But right now, I only have the one Zoom window with like the grid view and the chat and blah, 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 whatever. But it's not letting me separate. Like when Jeremy, not Jeremy, new guy. Marcus was sharing his screen. I was trying to make it so that his share screen would be on the one monitor and then all the participants would be on the other. Can I try sharing my screen with you and see if that would do it?
Of course. So you have dual monitors, and then you have your, the panel is set up as a mirror.
I have my one standard monitor, and then I have my box light set up as the second dual monitor.
I don't know. What Jeremy was saying is, I don't know if the box light will be recognized as a second PC monitor. I thought that would be.
I was given this, which made it able to recognize it as a second monitor. It was not a standard thing.
Okay.
One of the many advantages of having an IT guy for a husband.
Nice.
Okay, so you're seeing my screen, right? With my
yes
thing, and then here's my box light or my MimioView, whatever. And then on my second, so what you're seeing with this and my Chrome, that's my first monitor. On my box light on my second monitor, it's not letting me put all the participants in grid view like full screen. It's letting me have like the little teeny box, you know, for when now it's letting me make it bigger. I think it just needed your presence, Allison.
You'd be amazed how often that is really just the solution.
It happens all the time with my husband, and I get really irritated. Like, can you just stand here for 20 minutes so I can like get this to work?
Yeah,
okay,
and then it's always like, I swear it wasn't working before you came here. It's so funny. Okay, so now you have multiple screens?
So now I have my MimioView full screen on my monitor to the left, and then I have all the participants big, basically full screen. I like just made the window like really big to show on the whole screen. In the grid view. This is exactly what I wanted. Thank you.
And then you probably have your chat and your participants in like separate little windows?
I don't have them open. See here. Participants, little window. Can you open the chat in a little window? Ah, yes, you can. So then, yes, now I do have my chat. You can't see it, huh, on my screen share right now?
No. I'm seeing the MimioView.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it looks like you just signed in again.
I did? I'm signed in on 2 devices, sorry.
So are you able to pull the MimioView camera up to you as well?
I can. I was
Come
having,
back, Allison. Can you
I
hear me?
couldn't get the
Okay.
Zoom to recognize the MimioView camera as the webcam, but I honestly don't see myself doing that anyway, because then they'll either be able to see me or they're able to see what I'm doing. And regardless of if I want them to see what's on my document camera, like, you know, this part, I still want them to see my face. So I imagine myself screen sharing more than using the MimioView as the video for myself.
And that's perfectly fine. I just want to show that aspect because I know some people were requesting it. That's all.
Oh, of course, I understand. I stopped trying because I was getting frustrated and I realized I'm not gonna do it anyway. So why bother?
Or, hey, whatever works for you. Whatever works for you.
And simpler, I think, is better. So good.
Okay.
All right. Thanks,
I'm gonna
man.
stop my screen share. Thank you for letting me try.
No problem.
All right, 1 second. Let me actually get this back up. 1 second, and I'll be ready to jump back in. I have 1 minute anyway, so I should be good.
And it looks like we're still seeing your screen share. Man.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
I keep losing my mouse.
Those are my favorite pens too, by the way.
They're amazing.
I know.
Although you have to store them standing up, otherwise they skip, which is irritating, but you know, whatever. Thanks, Allison. Thanks, Marcus.
You're welcome. No problem. Is everyone, let's see, are we about back yet? No, I see.
You're fine.
Okay.
So Marcus, I just want to make sure you have all the host functions. Well, you're screen sharing, so I guess you do. So you're good to go.
I hope so, because I have something I need to do as a host. So.
Now we're not seeing your video, but I guess that's...
Oh, no, because I mean, I could cut my webcam on, but realistically, they're not going to have their webcam on anyway. So that's why I didn't do it. Okay. If you want me to, I can, but...
I mean, it's always nice to see you, but you don't have to. All right, so looks like, I think we have everyone back who was with us before. So you are good to go, Marcus.
All right. All right, so now what we're gonna do is, we're gonna still talk about Zoom, but we're gonna do this Zoom the way through, just like one of your colleagues referred to, that she probably would do it from the screen share. So yes, I have my MimioView. I have my MimioView here. And let's say my screen is shared. So now I will press that launch button because now I have a solid green, okay? So behind the scenes, all I did was restart my computer, made sure that it was plugged in as it was restarting. And then it's, it blinked for a little while and then it went solid green, okay? So now I have solid green. I'm just gonna press that launch button and you should see that it's launched, okay? So now that it's launched, if you look at the bottom of my screen, you'll see this is the MimioView icon here, all right? So now that it's launched, I can just click on that. And if you notice, it's upside down. So now I can either use the rotation button that's on the actual base of the camera, and now it's rotated. So now you can't see me. My lights automatically cut on. So they're bright in my face. So we're gonna talk about that in a second. But now it's there. I have a good image of myself. And I potentially could have an image of the panel as well. Let's pretend my panel's here, all right? My panel's here. I can potentially have an image of that as well. I also can have an image of my resource. Let's say I want to do some math problems here. I can have that image here as well. And just make sure it comes across good on your side. You may have to do a little bit more. Oh, I think that was it. What's the best way? Right here. So here, I'm here. I can also have that in Zoom, all right? I'm in Zoom, but the caveat is I'm not gonna be able to make that screen that small like I initially was able to. So I'm not gonna be able to make it as small, but what I can do is, let's say I wanna keep this lesson up, but I want people to see me as well. Let me move this out of my way. All I need to really do is make this window smaller by going to the top, making it smaller, decreasing the size. Again, this is me being, as a teacher like we are, this is me being resourceful, using what I already kind of have. So it's gonna be a smaller window, but let's say if I just want it for webcam purposes, if I just want that for webcam purposes, then I can make it even smaller. So I'll move this. Let's say I just want this to be on my panel or in my face, okay? And I'll rotate this again. All right, say if I want it to be this way. So what I can do is I could do my split screen. So let me see real quick. So I'm pressing the top here and doing the Windows button on the keyboard and the left arrow, pressing them at the same time. And then I'm doing the same thing here on this window. I'm pressing the Windows key that's on your keyboard and then the right arrow, or actually I can just double click on this one. And now you'll see I have my split screen basically, right? So from here, now that my screen is split, I am able to, and this Zoom window is getting in my way every time I try to do something. So now I really can, you know, make that small. So if I need my students to see my face, I really do, I have that option, okay? I can even make this bigger and then try to move this over more. So I can kind of just play with it until I get, I guess, the right, you know, the right view that I want, depending upon what I'm showing. So I just want to show I can make that. I can keep moving this over. So you can see me, you know, when I'm in the lens of the actual camera at the same time as when I'm doing my lesson that's already shared. Okay, so this is another workaround in Zoom if you want to have your picture or your image inside of the platform as you are sharing your screen, or if you want to have the actual, again, we're pretending this is the IFP. That's my wall. So that's the IFP. And I'm actually at the IFP. Again, depending upon how far you are away from the camera and things of that nature. So you really want to test that out, but that's the screen share option. Some of the...
Marcus, sorry to interrupt. Can you repeat how to get back to the green solid light?
So yeah, so, and I just, you know, now I just thought about this, because if they want to follow along with this, they still can do it. Well, they still can do it. How I got back to, and I kind of explained it before I left, what I needed to do was the easiest way, the best way, the most effective way that's going to be the most, you're going to get the best results from is just restarting your computer. So if you choose to do it with your MimioView and share your screen and do it the way I'm showing you now, you need the software. So let's say if you, because more than likely, before you do your lessons, I mean, you're going to have your setup of, okay, how do I want to do this? Is it going to be more beneficial for me to use Zoom and use the MimioView? Or is it going to be more beneficial for me to share my screen with the MimioView being shared? And if that's the case, you want solid green, so you want to just plug it in and then start your computer. And it's going to automatically recognize the software. But if you want to use it with the Zoom as basically like a webcam, you just want to make sure that it's not recognizing the software like we just did earlier. Does that answer the question?
So the only way to do it is restart our computer? Like, let's say I'm using it on the Zoom function like we just were.
Yes, it is. It is. So that's why you want to really know which way you want to do it from the beginning, because the best way that when I practice doing it, the best way that I'm gonna be able to do it is try opening up the Mimio Studio notebook.
I did that, and now I don't have the blue light because it's still blinking green.
Yes.
So I don't have that. How do I get that blue light that you have down there next to the zoom button?
You're saying this?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so that's gonna require, so if that's the case, if relaunching the software by opening up Mimio Studio Notebook is not working, that means you have to restart it.
Restart the computer. Okay.
Yes, restart your computer. And then once you do that, it will be solid green again.
Okay.
Yes. So that's why I guess you want to make a decision on which method you want to use, because there's benefits to doing both. So now that I'm in Zoom and sharing my screen, I can always do things with the MimioView, even if it's, I'm showing my panel, like I guess, so this is me pretending to show my panel. This is using it as a webcam for myself, right? And this is also using it as a document camera, okay? So now we're gonna focus more on using it as a document camera, all right? I'll press out of this. All right, so the next thing that we want to talk about is, thank you. All right, it's just the MimioView window. All right, we're going to talk about the different things with the MimioView window, the different components of the options you have with the MimioView window. So, of course, the first option we have is lights on and lights off. And so I'll open this up and again, maybe actually launch this so you can actually see what happens when I press these buttons. Probably the best method. All right. So lights on, lights off. So once I, press that button, and make it a little bit smaller. Work it out. There we go. All right, so if I press that button, you'll notice the lights go off, lights go on. Depending upon your environment, sometimes the view is better with the actual lights, the lights off, depending upon where you're located. All right. The next button is your auto tune button. Just want to go over that. If I press that, it should focus the camera in better, so you have a better visual. Again, that button is also on the base of the document camera, so it's there as well. All right. Right beside it is your advanced tune, which means if I click here, if I need to adjust my brightness, not for the preset, but just customize my brightness, if I move this more to the right, you'll notice it's going to get very bright. If I move it to the left, you'll notice that brightness is going to decrease. And the contrast the same way. If I want to increase the contrast, I'll move this to the right. If I want to decrease it, I move it to the left, okay? But let's say I'm here and I want it to be, let's say it's here and I want it to be back set to the original setting. If I want it to be back to the original setting, I just go back to the defaults, and that's going to take it back to the original setting, okay? Of course, next you have your rotation button. So you have your counterclockwise rotation. So it allows you to put your object or whatever you're trying to show underneath the document camera and in from different directions. So I can rotate it clockwise and counterclockwise. So this is also a good feature. That the pause that I talked about earlier is a great feature. So for instance, if I press the freeze, now if I remove the paper, you'll notice, and I'm right now waving my hand in front of the camera, it still has that image. So it's not gonna show the actual live image anymore. But once I unpause it or unfreeze, you'll notice now it shows my hand and I move the actual image away. And that can be very beneficial. So I'll show you some things about that in a second. The next thing is clear all. So if you're writing on top of or with the software, if you select the clear all button, let's say if I were to write something here, if I select the clear all button, it's going to clear all the writing off, all right? The next way this could be very beneficial if you're trying, when it comes to prepping things, let's say I have this image here, I have a book here, and I want to get this picture. All right, so this is the book. I want to get a picture of this book. I want to use it for something or use it in my Mimio Studio notebook. Let me move this out move this out the way. What I can do is I can select this option here, and it's going to gray out the screen. So now I have the option of basically digitizing anything that I don't have a digital copy of and utilizing it as an image. So it copies it. And if you notice, if I were to go now to my Mimio Studio notebook, also could go to, I believe, Word and Google Docs and things of that nature, other applications, right click, paste. Now it's going to give me that image. So now I have that image that was just underneath my document camera. And I can annotate over that image. I can add text to it. I can do, make it bigger, and you notice the quality is pretty good. That image is pretty good quality, okay? And if I want to get rid of it, I'll just exit out of it. Okay, so now I have the document camera back up. The next 3 buttons are very powerful. That's where you really get your bang for your buck when it comes to what you're trying to show in your lesson, or in Zoom, or if it's if you're actually recording an instructional video, is the Zoom feature. So let me just go ahead and just kind of maximize this right now for you so you can see it. And what I like, there's a couple ways that you can do this. So I guess I'll say that for later. All right, so if I go to the zoom in here, this is going to allow me to focus in. And that's very, very sharp image. I can also, refocus it some more just so I can get the best image I can possibly get. So now let's say I tried to do a screen clipping of this, or if I want to screen clip it from here now, if you notice, I'm going to get a very, very good image. I can, do whatever I want to do with that. I can choose to paste this as well, and it's going to go directly to my Mimio Studio notebook, and that's that image I just received. Okay. The next one is zoom out. So again, of course, that's going to zoom out. This is zoom in, zoom out. All right. The next one is very important because I use this more than zoom out. So let's say I'm zoomed in, right? I'm zoomed way in, and I want to go back to the regular view. This is called zoom full. Zoom full takes you directly back to the regular view. All right, so then you can kind of manipulate it. And, for me, it's kind of, it could be, I guess it depends on how much you use it, but it can get very difficult at times to kind of get the right angle and things of that nature. So zoom full is something I use very frequently. I can zoom in as many times as I want to. I see the image, I hit zoom full, it takes me right back so I can kind of move my material around. The next button is the tools button. So if you notice, I have my Mimio Studio notebook tools here, or my Mimio Studio tools are here, okay? They're already here. So let's say if I exit out of them, this button here is what's gonna bring those tools back up directly from the MimioView, all right? So now I have access to all these tools. So it's crazy because with these tools, I can really get creative when I'm doing my instructional videos, we will talk about later. There's a lot of creative things I can do, so I'll save that for later when it comes to the tools. But I just want to let you know that those are the tools there, okay? And if I forget, please remind me to kind of go over those because there's some great options there as well, all right? And one thing I guess system here I want to make, because it can get annoying at times, I move this toolbar by the white I just click on it and drag. And to minimize it, I just double click here on the triangle and it's gonna minimize it, all right? The next is your recorder. So you can record from the MimioView, directly from the MimioView. So this is, and we're gonna go over that at our our 4 o'clock session. And from here, the next thing we're going to talk about is full screen. So this is how you go to full screen. So playing around with these options allow you to get a very crisp, very, very good picture. And again, you can do this directly in Zoom as you're live, doing your live lessons, as you're doing your synchronous lessons, you're very, in that moment being live lessons. So you have those options here, okay? Just wanna make sure we understand what these mean and how to use them, okay? Any questions before I move on any of these tools that are at the bottom of the MimioView window?
Any questions?
Marcus, I had a question.
Yes.
When you zoom in on the bottom MimioView, does that zoom in the actual camera or does it just zoom in my view on my screen?
It zooms in the, no, it zooms in the actual camera zooms in.
Yes, that's my camera zooms in. Okay, because when I was testing it, I felt like it just did it on my screen, but it, because, I'm sorry, can I share my screen really quick?
Yeah, go ahead, that's fine.
Oh, you're sharing your screen. So that means I'm gonna kick you off?
Yeah, Jill just kicked me off and I'll get back on.
Okay, do you see my MimioView?
I see it, yes.
All right, so like, this is my regular thing, right? Like I click plus, and then
yes.
it's showing me this, right? But I can still scroll down and see the bottom part.
Yes.
Is that normal?
Yeah, that's normal. That's normal. Yes, that allows you to kind of pinpoint where you want to go. So now you can just move your, zoom in, zoom out appropriately, so you can move the image to where it can be. You can get the full. Like if you move it more to your right, now I can see the entire book.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And then you can scroll up and scroll down on the left. Scroll up and scroll down on the right, and then left and right on the bottom.
Got it. So then I don't have to physically move my book to do
exactly.
I can just use that.
That's a good question. I didn't touch on that with the Zoom, but I'm gonna touch on something else with the Zoom that is pretty good as well.
Okay.
Later.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let me go back to sharing my screen.
Katrina, did you have a question? I see your hand up. I don't know if that was earlier or...
Wait, I have a hand up? No.
Oh, like a little emoji hand.
Oh, the little emoji hand? Oh.
Never mind.
How do I get rid of that then?
I just took it away for you. I just wanted to make sure you didn't have a question.
That was from a long time ago when he said, give me a hand if you can do something or something.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right, so now that we understand, or do we all, I guess we all understand what the purpose of these actual buttons are. We're gonna have a little test, do a little activity, to kind of make sure we are all paying attention. So now I have all of the actual names or features to the left, and I have the actual images to the right. This is my first time doing this, so please forgive me if I mess up, but who would like to volunteer to match two of these? So all you would simply do is drag whatever image matches the feature, and you would just basically drag them to the middle right beside each other. Okay, do I have any volunteers? We're gonna, isn't it called popcorn?
Any volunteers? I mean, I only see a couple videos.
How do we drag it though?
I'll show you. Well, I'm gonna let you do it once I figure out who's gonna be the actual volunteer. So do you want to be the volunteer, Katrina?
Yeah, I will.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. All right.
Yes.
So all I'm doing, and this is something you can do with your software as well. Actually, Allison showed me, told me about this, and I wanted to try it out. So if I go up to the top, when I'm actually in Zoom, there's a remote control feature. So I'm going to actually give you control of my computer, basically.
Oh.
So I'm selecting you now, and it's waiting for you to control my screen.
Okay, I hit it.
Okay, so now can you move your mouse?
Well, I'm on an iPad.
Well, see, can you actually touch and move then? Let's see if that works.
I'm trying. So like I'm trying to get zoom in. It's not doing anything.
So you can't touch on the actual, let's say if I just want to touch the brush right here, could you touch on the brush and move it? There we go. So it shows you touched it. Now can you move it if you try to?
I can't move it anywhere. It's not moving.
Okay, and maybe because you're on an iPad, that could be the reason.
So I wonder if you touch and hold,
Okay.
Katrina, and
Okay.
then try and drag.
Nope. If you touch and hold too long, a big menu comes up.
Okay.
And it won't, and if you just do a little bit, yeah, it won't drag anywhere.
So once it's selected like that, if you touch it again and select it, can you use your arrows? Oh, you don't have arrows.
Yeah, I have arrows.
Okay, try and use your arrows.
Nope. Should I touch that little thing that says keyboard down there? There's a little picture of a keyboard.
No. Is anybody not on an iPad? Because your students will not be.
Some of them will, some of them will, some of them won't.
Okay.
It depends what they have.
Okay.
Darn, that
April's
looks so cool.
It is really cool. So I want to try and make it work. So April's on a Chromebook. She can test it out. Let's see how it works on a Chromebook.
Okay, so let me, basically I'm just gonna abort the control from you.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna give it to her just to see if it works. So control, you said April?
April, yep.
All right.
And by the way, folks, if you are trying to use this setting, it's a setting you'll need to toggle on in your Zoom. Okay, and it's just called remote control. It's in meeting basic settings. I can show you where to find it after as long as we make it work. If it's useful.
For some reason, I'm not seeing April as one of the options here.
So I see her.
So can you give her control?
I cannot because I'm not screen sharing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't. For some reason, I don't see her as an option. I don't know why I wouldn't see her as an option though.
But you see her in your Zoom, in your participants?
Let me see. Yes, I do.
Huh.
Yeah, that's weird. Let me try it again. There has to be a reason behind it though.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, well, do you see, Catherine, I see you unmuting there. You want to give it a try? Oh, I don't know why we can't hear you, Catherine. I see you talking, but.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I had to turn my mic on. Whoops. Okay. So I'll try. Yeah, definitely.
All right, perfect. So it says I sent it to you.
Okay, you can control them. Okay, so I supposed to, let's see.
What device are you on, Catherine?
I'm on my laptop.
Laptop, okay.
I mean, no, my desktop.
Desktop.
With a mouse, okay.
With a mouse. So,
Okay.
So this is me, and I should be able to double click.
No, yeah, just pull and drag. So put your, well, you're going for it. Rotating, there you go.
Yeah, so now I gotta rotate. Let's see, that's clockwise, I think. Okay, yeah. So I
Okay.
would just put that on there,
That's fine.
and then I would guess this is lights on and off.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Perfect.
cool. So it works on a desktop,
Okay. Great, great.
if that helps.
Anybody on a laptop, so we can just try it on a laptop?
Yeah, I don't have one, so.
I'm on a laptop.
Can you try it for me, please?
So that's Sophia.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so let me take control away. All right, so it should be coming your way now.
Nice.
So this is something you also should be able to do in Zoom with the software, because our software is interactive. So this is something that you could kind of create. And this may be another training, but this is something that you should be able to do.
Yeah, and there are quite a lot of like animations and multimedia things that you can do in this software. So, Marcus is going to give you a good overview today. I do recommend, you can create a lot of interesting games and interactive activities in Mimio Studio if we can get this remote control to work for, I would say, most of your student devices. It makes it kind of a neat experience where they can control your screen.
And they can also annotate as well. I mean, you have ways of annotating as well. So just wanted to show that feature off and also do like a little check as well at the same time. It seems like we're doing good. We understand what those buttons mean. So that's great.
Is that Sophia organizing everything in
Yes.
order?
And see, and that's the science behind knowing the software, because I initially wanted it to be like she's kind of doing it. But let's say if I wanted it to be like Catherine was doing, then I could layer it to where the image is behind the words or in front of the words, however I choose to do so. So it's just different things you can do within the software as well with this. But let me know when you're finished. For some reason, I can't get this off in front of my face right now, but maybe if I, let's see.
So definitely worth,
Now we're good. We're good.
definitely worth practicing in Zoom and testing out some of these features and seeing if you can do it. And not just with Mimio Studio, I think in general, there's some pretty cool features in Zoom.
So perfect. So we got tools, copy to clipboard here, auto tune, and clear all, and advanced auto tune. So everything should be matched up, correct? All right, we're good to go. So we all good on those, correct? All right. All right, and these are the answers. I had the answers there just in case we need some help. All right. All right, so with that being said, there's other ways that we can utilize the MimioView outside of our live lessons. So let's say I guess they could technically be a part of or not a part of. So we can have a couple ways we can do this. So our MimioView can be used in your live lessons, like I've kind of demonstrated. I'm going to get into more of the actual tools and things that you can do in our next session. But there's also ways that the MimioView can be used outside of your live lessons, to say if you want to do instructional videos, okay? But with creating an instructional video, you can also bring that into your live lesson as a part of your live lesson. So that may be kind of confusing, but there's a couple ways you can do this. And for me, the reason I would bring in a instructional video into my live lessons from a MimioView, especially let's say if I was trying to read a book with my students, or I was trying to solve some math problems on a paper, things of that nature. is I can make it the best quality ahead of time. So, hey, maybe the first couple minutes of your live lesson, you're showing them a video of you doing something in a more organized way that you've kind of prepped. That way, that part doesn't have to be live. So you can show that as well, okay? So let's get into very quickly, we'll go back to the view and jump into some of these tools as well, all right? Let's do that. So let's say one thing I can do, all right? So if I have my book here, my textbook, or something I'm reading, I may be reading a story, which we'll get into that. Just want to kind of go into some of those features. So if I have my book here, again, I have the option of zooming in at the bottom. And I can utilize my, I can scroll on the right, I can scroll up and down. On the bottom, I can scroll left and right and get my right view. I also have the option, again, of zooming out, like I said earlier, and I have the option of zoom full, which takes me back to the original view. Once you have your tools pulled up, so say if I go to the command to bring up my tools, I also have another zoom feature. So this zoom feature is going to allow me to zoom in to a specific spot, and you can be a little bit more accurate with zooming in. So once I have this up, now I can zoom in to a specific spot, and then I can also, move that appropriately as well. So let's say I'm gonna go back to the bottom to zoom full. I'm gonna show you another way as well, but if I go zoom full, again, it takes me back to the regular view. I'm going here. I want to zoom in on the word when. Okay, you notice I just highlighted the word when, and now it's gonna highlight just that word. Again, the closer you are, the quality is going to be less, but again, that still is a pretty good image of it. You also have, instead of going zoom full, I could zoom out here from that spot. I also have the option, if I want to zoom in here, and if I right click on top of the toolbar, I have those same options as well when it comes to zooming in and zooming out, okay? When it comes to the live lessons with this toolbar, a couple things I can do as well is, I'm just going to zoom in again to here. Let's say I want to bring in I want to annotate or I want to highlight some things. Now this toolbar allows me to highlight. It's going to be red, highlight with red, and this is my meter that's going to determine how thick the writing is going to be. You can play around with that. I probably need that to be a little thicker, so I'll move this more to the right because I'm zoomed in so much. But now I can highlight directly from my panel or my laptop. So now I have the image underneath my document camera, but I'm doing this from my actual panel, okay? With that being said, I also can go to my pen tool and I can, well, see, now that's too thick, so I'm gonna move this down. And I can erase as well, so I'm gonna erase. Well, that eraser was too big, but I can go to my pen tool, make sure that it's lined up appropriately, and now I can use that to, circle things and things of that nature. The eraser works by, if I go to the eraser, all the way to the right means it's going to be a big eraser. If I go more to the left, you'll notice that eraser is going to be smaller. So I can pinpoint on those actual annotations. Again, I could screen clip this as well to my Mimio Studio notebook and do the same thing as well. If I want that eraser to be big, I move this more to the right, and now that is deleted. But again, I also have the option of, let's say if I was to circle all of this, and then I want to delete all of it at the same time, I can just do this. It's going to get rid of it, okay? The next thing I want to just kind of highlight is, and briefly highlight because I don't want to get too far into the tools, I can add text if I need to. I'll just type. And this is using the software with the view. So this is using your software with your MimioView. With that being said, I can move that around as well. So I'm just saying you can get very creative with this because you have all these different options with your view and the software. I can add shapes. So right now it's going to be a square. Outside it's going to be red. Inside it's going to be transparent. So if I want to box something, I can do that. Or I can right click on it and choose, different shapes and different colors. And, so the possibilities are vast when it comes to what I can do if I'm playing around. Again, this is a whole nother training technique, but I want to just make you aware of these things, all right? With that being said, if I want to get rid of everything, I press here, and it's going to get rid of all those things that I just put there with my clear all button. Let me see, anything else I want to, that may be, let's see. And of course, again, if I add text, I annotate from my panel. I zoom in, I add a shape, any of those things. If I go back to this button that's at the bottom, it's going to gray it out. From here, I can highlight what I want to basically clip. And then I can go back to my Mimio Studio notebook and I can right click and paste it, or I can paste it to a document as well directly from my MimioView. So it just gives you more, it gives you some more power inside of your classrooms to be very creative with your live lessons and also your instructional videos. All right.
Marcus, can students access these controls? So you could have them highlight something or move the...
Let's try it. Let's see. You're up for the test?
Sure. I know you couldn't find me last time though.
Oh, okay. Okay. I got you. I can't. Yes. Is anyone up for the test that I can find? Let me see. Maybe I can go in and find you now. No, I don't see you on here right now. That's weird. Is anybody up for the test to see? How about Allison? Since we're in different locations, right? Are you good?
I'm good. I can try.
Okay. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No problem.
All right. So Allison is now controlling, and I'll get my toolbar out.
So I'm going to select the annotation. Okay, so I can do that. I could do there it is.
So if you were doing a math lesson, you could have the kids write on there instead of you being the one doing everything.
Theoretically, yeah, unless there's issues with the type of device they're on. So it seems like, April, you're on a Chromebook and it's not recognizing you. And then there's some issues, I guess, with the iPad being able to. Let's try, who was on the iPad? It was Katrina. Let's see if you're able to do annotation. Yeah. Can you try?
Okay, what? Hold on.
So, Marcus, if you, yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready. So see if I can draw on it?
Yeah.
With my finger, right?
And we're looking for Katrina, correct?
Yeah. Katrina, yeah. So wait until he'll give you control.
Oh, okay.
Yes, she has controls.
I got control.
Feels good, doesn't it?
So I'm trying to write on it with my finger though?
So you'll have to select the pen tool once you have control. So, yeah, so select that. It looks like it's on. So now see if you can actually draw.
No, see, when I did this last time too, it keeps showing a picture of a mouse. I don't know if you guys can see that. Like when I click the pen, it has a little blue picture of a mouse. Like it wants a mouse or something. I don't know, but I'm on an iPad, so.
Can you like double click? I'm not as familiar with using iPad like touch controls, but I wonder how you could.
Do you have a stylus pen?
Good question. Katrina, are you still with us? She might have been kicked off.
It says she's still controlling, so
Okay.
well, let's see.
Now, there's also annotation features within Zoom that you can turn on or off.
That's correct. So when you're shared, you can actually, they can do it from there as well.
All right, well, this is Katrina. Sorry, my iPad just died, so that's why you lost me.
Now you're on a desktop.
Now I'm on Melissa's desktop, so I don't know.
It's on Melissa's desktop, so we want me to send it to her so you can kind of practice with it just to see.
Well, it's a desktop, not an iPad though.
So it should work since it's a desktop.
Right, okay, so let's try.
Oh, well, I have an iPad here.
All right, so let me go back to it. There we go. So I sent it to Melissa. There we go. Perfect.
Okay, but that's using a mouse and a desktop, right?
Melissa, are you using a mouse at that desktop?
Melissa, I believe you're muted. She's just having fun controlling your screen, I think. Just getting artistic here. Yeah.
Yes.
That's so creepy.
All right. Thank you for participating. I'm glad we could see that it works. I'm gonna go ahead and take away the remote control.
Are you able to show annotation just within Zoom, just to see what the difference is there?
Should you share your screen and show it?
No, annotation is not showing up for me right now.
Okay, let me see. Oh, so sorry. Let me see. Okay. So annotate, draw. You can't see the window though, right?
No, I can't.
But you see that I am annotating with the feature of Zoom, or the Zoom feature.
So it might be a setting that you need to turn on as the host to allow annotation for participants.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that is another kind of interactive option.
Correct. That's a good point. Okay. So we have about close to 10 minutes left before we actually take a break and then come back at 4 o'clock. So in the 4 o'clock session, we're really going to focus more on the recording aspect. And with that recording aspect, we're going to, focus okay, how do I record with my MimioView, and how do I get those recordings into Seesaw and things of that nature. Then we're going to have a little activity where I want to see you actually create something, and we'll have you share your screen for those who choose to do so. with your MimioView, or maybe just potentially with your software if you don't have the MimioView, or technically, well, I was thinking that may be taken too far if we're going to do it through Zoom. But just try to look at the different options that you have when it comes to creating your instructional videos. So before we do close out for this first half, are there any lingering questions? I want to leave some time, and I think I have a good enough time, 11 minutes before we close out. So any questions that I can kind of review some things for you that may have been confusing or you didn't understand, or just some questions that have come up since I've went over the things I've gone over so far. And please feel free to unmute as well.
Sophia's got her hand up.
My question is about Mimio Studio View.
Okay.
On my desktop where this is all situated.
Okay.
One of my things, but
and are you using your MimioView right now?
No, I'm using just my regular camera because it kept booting me out of the Studio View.
Okay.
Because I'll click on the thing is all solid green. It flashes the light and then it shuts down and it says it's not responding.
You're saying it's solid green. Right now it's solid green?
Yeah, right now my camera is solid green.
And when you press the button, I was doing that when you press the button?
Yeah.
I would just recommend restarting it, and that normally will fix it. Just restart your computer. Have you done that?
Yeah, like 3 times.
Okay.
But I can ask our IT guy if he can fix it for
see
me.
if anything else it could be. When did the problem start happening, I guess? Just trying to pinpoint. Maybe.
Today, because I didn't know that we had the Studio View. I only knew about the notebook. So
Okay, gotcha.
I started tinkering with it while you were talking about it and I couldn't get it to work.
Okay.
You have to reopen the Mimio Studio notebook, Marcus, if she closed it before.
Yes, try doing that. Try opening up the Mimio Studio notebook.
The notebook opened. The view is still responding. I'm going to try and just open that
unplugging it, and then replugging it in.
Okay.
Once you have it open. Is it solid green again, or is it still blinking green?
It's blinking right now.
Okay.
I did just plug it in. So we'll see.
Marcus, I have a question. For this afternoon sessions, should everyone shut down and restart to make sure that they're connecting and getting that solid green?
Yes, I'll recommend that. Yes, so that they can actually use the software aspect of the MimioView. Correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is it still flashing green?
Yes, it is, but you can answer other people's questions.
Well, try to, what I would do is do a hard shutdown and then restart it and then try it then. And then hopefully it works then. And keep it plugged in while you do that as well. Any other questions?
And I'll just chime in while people are maybe thinking of questions. I will not be able to join this afternoon session, so Marcus will be monitoring chat and doing all the facilitation side of things. So just unmute yourself if you have a question so he knows to respond to you. But like all of our sessions, this one is being recorded. And I'll just add it to that Google site that I prepared before, so you'll have recordings and you can access it. Of course, you can always reach out to me. You have my email address. You can reach out to me directly, and I'll forward questions to Marcus that are specific. And the other thing I wanted to mention is I will be setting up a scheduling application. So you can actually schedule, we have 25 30-minute sessions that are just consulting. So anything that you have going on, if you want to troubleshoot about any of the applications that we've talked about, you can schedule a session with me in either individual or small group. And we can troubleshoot and go forward with that. So it doesn't end after today. We still have ongoing support, and you still have us available to you after today. And of course, there's still that swivel session next week, but I believe that's not for you all. I think you all are the MimioView group, so that's okay. So any questions for me before I sign off? And I know Marcus has said 4 o'clock a few times, but of course he is Eastern time and you're Pacific time, so it's
oh,
1
yes.
o'clock for you. So take your lunch, do a hard shutdown, get your MimioView back to that solid green light, hopefully, and then come back and you'll be able to continue with Marcus. Any questions?
All right, so any more questions?
Big question to look into would be, is there any way around allowing students with iPads to gain control of the screen? A lot of our younger students have iPads and Chromebooks. Yeah, so I think, April, this is an issue. For sure, it's a noted issue, Zoom and Chromebooks. I wasn't aware of iPads. So I'm gonna look into it because the questions come up a few times. And it's a really great feature in Zoom. So I would love to know how we can make it available if it's not working with iPads and Chromebooks. But that is something that I will follow up on and find out if there's a workaround on that one, okay?
All right, well, I'll stay on for the next 4 minutes.
The kindergartners.
Any questions, but if you don't have any questions, I will see you in an hour.
Yeah. Just quick question here. Kindergartners will have Kindles too. I don't believe Kindles can do anything beyond e-reader. Am I wrong on that? I have a Kindle and it doesn't do much other than house my books, but maybe I haven't played with it too much. Oh, okay. Kindle Fire tablets. All right, so those have more functionality, I guess. Okay, I have a note to test Zoom remote control with different touch devices that students would be using. Any other student devices that we might see out there or that your students might be using? No? All right. All right, folks, any other questions for me before we sign off? You're gonna sign right back into this same meeting, so don't lose the link. Looks good. Okay. All right, well, have a nice lunch, everybody. take it all in, take some time, reboot. And Marcus, thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. You're welcome.
Okay, we'll see you in an hour. I will not see you, but you will see everybody in an hour.
Yes, I will. And I'm gonna go ahead and sign off.
Okay, thank
2
you.
minutes. I'll wait 2 minutes.
Marcus, do you want me to, I think I need to end the meeting.
Okay, I got you.
And it's gonna end for all. Just because I need to be on another Zoom.
That's fine.
Okay, so you can get back on in the host role, right? You were able to do that easy?
Yeah, I should be able to do that. Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so you can send me a text if there's any issues this afternoon. But other than that,